Alright, let's all chin.
Wait just a second.
Hold up.
What a great start.
Alright.
Cheers. Okay, this is episode 2. We have a guest named Ray. He is a friend.
Hi. The food today is some pizza from a place called Hey Neighbor.
It's pretty gas.
What do we got? Pretty bomb. We got meat lovers and we got, what is this thing?
Eggplant, bro. And
Eggplant.
trust me, you're gonna fuck with that. I'm a big meat guy myself. I love me some meat. But this shit go hard.
I hope so, man.
And then
I'm
on the
scared.
side, it's like pizza without the sauce.
Ooh, that looks pretty bomb, actually.
Yeah, just fed with I forget what this little shit in the dipping thing is, but some sun-dried tomato thing.
Sick. Dog. Okay. I feel like we should start with something big.
I feel like we gotta start with Trump. I mean, that just happened.
I watched it live. In
Really?
class. Yeah.
Really?
Holy shit.
With that high school you work
Yeah, I'm working at a high school right now. And we literally watched the updates live. And the teacher I'm working under, he was like, nah, he's gonna get off on all of them. He's he's an excellent teacher and a really good human being, but I think he's really jaded.
Yeah, that's fair.
And he was like, he's gonna get off, it's horrible. And then he gets convicted on all of them, bro. Fucking insane. I was like, I told you, bro.
Do you think there was like any bias from the jury?
100%. There can never be no jury bias.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
he's
facts.
getting tried in New York.
But
And, let's be real. There is some political reasoning for trying this guy. Not that he hasn't done illegal shit, but, they were probably looking for it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
yeah, I will say though, there was a lot of evidence that he was in fact guilty of this particular crime.
Yeah.
So I think while there was bias, it was also pretty
Pretty
he
clear
did
cut,
do
with or
it,
without
yeah.
the bias, he's motherfucker's guilty. Yeah.
Mm.
And did you get any of I saw a very this little Snapchat story that I followed did a really quick update, and it had a bunch of the courtroom sketches, which I thought were really funny, and a brief little thing on Trump's response, which was basically that he was just like, this is all fraud. Which
Dude,
is his
he
usual
blamed
response.
Biden.
Always.
He was like, it's Biden's fault. And then the Speaker of the House, after the Democrats save his job, goes, yeah, this is a political thing. Trump did nothing wrong. Trumped up charges.
Mm-hmm.
It's a sham. I bet you anything the Democrats aren't going to save his ass anymore. He's out. I think he's out of a job.
It's
I hope
possible.
so. How do we feel about his odds of getting reelected?
I don't know, man. I don't know if this is, how bad is this for Trump?
Honestly, not bad, in my opinion. I don't think his base cares.
Yeah.
But it's just I think what really matters is, do the people who are going to swing to Biden or Trump care? Do the people who are undecided and don't know care?
Right. I would hope so. I would hope that a person who's genuinely considering policy positions from both people would look at that and be like, well, kind of regardless of policy, he can no longer vote. He's no longer a full-fledged American citizen, which is kind of insane.
Yeah. Also, I'm just thinking, if I was a dude and I'm looking at Trump and I'm like, is that the type of dude I want to be my leader? A dude that pays off porn stars with campaign money?
Yep.
That's fucking wild.
Dude, yeah. I don't know. I wonder what his response is going to be like. What's Trump going to say about this?
Probably.
I mean, he already did.
Made up, rigged.
Yeah.
Just like the election.
Yeah, but does he start tweaking more?
That's a good question.
Because Trump is getting more and more crazy and saying shit that's becoming increasingly concerning.
Wasn't there a Reich comment the other day?
Yeah.
A what comment?
He added we will form a new Reich or something like that in one of his ads.
No way.
No,
Yeah,
seriously.
real.
No,
real.
This is no cap.
Biden keeps sending me emails going look, we don't want another Hitler. Donate to my campaign. I'm
I've just played into it.
Fuck. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, that's wild. I mean, I think we do have to acknowledge our own biases with this, though, of course. I'm looking at Trump I would never want him as my president, but I know there's a lot of that is where I grew up and people I spend time around and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
Even still, I feel like when I try to like step outside of that, like the dude still just got convicted of 34 felonies.
Also, like,
That's a lot.
I just don't think he has any policies.
He
Like, I
doesn't.
think he just kind of wings it.
There were some tax cuts and shit, but he doesn't run on policy at all.
No, he runs on personality. His
Yeah.
personality. And I don't know. I think like if you're already a Trump supporter and you're like deep in the rabbit hole, and you're like America's rigged against him. Everybody hates him. It's him versus the swamp.
Right.
This doesn't change your mind.
Yeah, I mean, this is just another, like, if anything, it makes you root for him harder, because it's like, oh yeah, the swamp's coming for him, shit like that.
I will say, like, he had 4 years to drain the swamp. Why is it still undrained?
That's a great point.
Like, did it just come back? That means he didn't do a good job. Like, I don't know. At a certain point, you have, like, when you are president, you are the swamp. Like, you're the guy in charge of the swamp.
That's
People
facts.
run for office by campaigning against office. Congresses campaign for Congress by running against Congress, and then they become Congress, and then they're the problem.
And then they become the problem. Is this shit gas, right?
It's pretty good. I really fuck with this thing.
What
that
is
sauce
it?
is bomb.
Yeah, if you like garlic, you'll fuck with it.
Okay. Yeah, it's pretty gas.
What do you guys think about this wine? I think it's
Pretty
pretty
good.
solid. I don't know my Pinot Noir at all.
Yeah.
This tastes good.
Yeah,
I mean, despite my
it's
background,
good.
I'm not a big wine guy.
I took a wine class during my study abroad time in Italy.
Oh yeah.
It was pretty bomb. Yeah.
What do you tasted in there? Iron.
Hold on, let me make up some total bullshit.
Okay.
That's actually the key to wine tasting is you just you sip it and then just say the most like outlandish descriptive words you can think
I
of.
fuck with it.
Okay, so it's light, springy, just like the delightful sun and crisp, cool breeze that has graced us today. We've got a hint of is that rose thorns, I think, and perhaps the dew of a plum. Yeah, delicious vintage. What year is this? 2021?
2022.
22? Okay.
Oh, he was close. He was close.
I was pretty close.
And I think that really explains the freshness.
Yeah,
that
I
you're
would
saying,
agree.
you know?
It's certainly a young wine.
It tastes young.
It tastes young.
really
Does not taste legal.
really the veal of wines. I'd say.
The feel of wine.
Yes, indeed. It pairs excellently with this springy light pizza, white sauce.
What'd you think of the eggplant?
It's pretty good. I like
Pretty
it.
gas.
I haven't made my way over there yet, but I'm just finishing my meat lovers now.
Ugh,
Am I refilling the wine?
I fuck with it.
Apparently, you can also take a pretty good guess at like the alcohol content of wine by watching like after you swirl it around in the glass, like how the and you can't see it very well in this. It works better in like a real wine glass, but
How much residue it leaves?
it's like how quickly the like drops that form like run down the side.
What's does higher alcohol run faster or slower?
I think slower, but that feels counterintuitive because alcohol's like less viscous than water, right? So it feels like it should run faster, but
Maybe it has higher surface tension.
I mean,
good
vodka
theory.
feels very, like, gummy sometimes.
Does it?
Kind of.
To me, vodka just tastes like you're just like squirting some hand sanitizer down your throat and be like, all right.
yeah, I'm a big fan of the motor oil comparison myself.
Guys, can I talk about Ukraine?
Yeah, man, hit it.
I think Putin's fucked.
Really?
I think he's so fucked.
Why?
One, he's lost 500,000 men.
How many women?
Valid. And, like, currently there's this big offensive. They push like 50 to 100 miles in northern Ukraine. So people are like freaking out, what the fuck, it's going wild. And it's really made the world go like, oh shit, this is happening. And not only is it happening, it's not going well. And we kind of delayed a lot. And now countries are starting to go like, okay, Ukraine, you can actually fire into Russia now.
Yeah, I saw some stuff about that. It sounds like a lot of the places that Russia fires from are like kind of like villages and towns in kind of like the bordering parts of Ukraine.
Yeah.
And they weren't allowed to fire them by other countries?
Not with their weapons.
Especially like the U.S. doesn't want to like raise tensions with Russia.
Dude,
Yeah.
I just saw an article. Apparently the U.S. sneakily gave Ukraine the, okay. And they've just been using it for, the last 2 days. And, no one's really noticed until now.
Nice.
And someone, asked, Blinken. And he was like, I'm sure the U.S. will change its policy one day about Ukraine. Not, completely just going, nah, we're already doing it. But, subtle. You know what I mean?
Keeping it on the DL.
Yeah, he kept it on the DL. But, I think 12 or 13 different countries have said you can use our weapons.
Damn.
Yeah.
Which is a lot. And some heavy hitters, like UK, Finland,
Dude.
I think
the
France is pretty...
France too.
All you need is
Macron hates Putin.
All you need is the U.S.
Yeah.
Low-key
real.
true. I don't think people appreciate just how much better we are at,
Killing?
than anyone else in this world.
Isn't our military budget, there's, some insane statistic about it. I can't remember what it is, but,
We're 4 times China's.
there you go.
It's big.
Or, you can add up, the next, couple places, and it's equal to the U.S.
Yeah.
You know what the largest air force is in the world?
I mean, I would say U.S., but...
U.S. Air Force. You know what the second largest what the second largest Air Force is?
Oh, probably, New York or something.
It's the Navy.
That's wild.
I can confirm, bro. I lived on a Navy base. The base I was on was responsible for, one, we didn't have a port. We were a Navy base without a port.
That's crazy.
Because our entire thing was drones. And we were
Really?
solely responsible for any drones, U.S. drones in Northern Africa.
Damn.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing is that you yourself are responsible for some covert operations in the north of Africa.
All I'm saying, when that goddamn Benghazi shit was going down with Hillary Clinton, I was right there with her, ordering those strikes and bombing embassies.
That was you?
That was me.
Damn.
Eddie, embassy bomber.
It's fucked up.
Wait, his initials. EB.
Embassy bomber.
Embassy bomber.
Yeah. They called me the Wraith of Benghazi after what I
The
did.
Wraith? No way.
How old were you then?
Probably 8. Maybe 5. I don't... Young.
You gotta start him young.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
But shit's not going well for Putin.
That's good news. That's music to my ears, man.
Here's why I think it matters. I think, if Putin fails, I think Xi doesn't pull the trigger on Taiwan.
Right, I remember that was in that possibly not a reputable source Reddit thread that you sent me that actually seemed very legit.
Yeah.
You want to, go a little more in depth on that? How those two things are interwoven?
So currently it feels like there are a handful of extremely wealthy and powerful individuals that actively wish to
Sorry.
basically undermine and usurp Western influence and democracy.
So we're talking
Xi Jinping, we're talking Vladimir Putin, we're talking the Ayatollah of Iran.
Even Brazil to an extent.
Not anymore, they elected a pro-democracy guy.
yeah, they got Lula, right?
Yeah. Woo. And as time has gone on, these guys have started trying to influence or alter the world, and I think they're realizing that a handful of dudes can't really control or predict what millions of people will do or billions.
It's got to be very frustrating for those guys to realize they can't control literally every person. You know?
Yeah.
Maybe we should empathize with them more.
A little bit. I feel for them. They just want to be in charge.
They just want complete and total power at any cost.
Yeah.
What is there not to empathize with?
I fuck with that. I would too, bro.
But
That really was a rim shot.
How is the Ukraine tied to Taiwan?
So, Ukraine is one of the largest, I think the third largest grain producer in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Big shot. China has a problem. They import like 60-ish% of all their grain. So theoretically, if a blockade by the world's most powerful navy, the United States, were to occur,
And the world's second most powerful navy, the state of California.
the state of California, were to just not let grain get to China, it would cause a famine that would kill conservatively 300 million people.
Holy shit.
Yeah, pretty fucking wild. And the
insane.
Chinese Communist Party has basically made a deal with its people, which was, you give up all your freedoms and agency, and in exchange we promise economic growth and no famine.
Yep.
Because of Mao's Great Leap Forward, massive famine, massive, hard times under World War II. This was sort of the agreement.
Right.
And people
so
are
many
okay with
famines in Chinese history.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, if the U.S. does a blockade, if China invades Taiwan, basically there will be no longer economic growth and there will be famine. So it kind of fucks over the Communist Party and makes them really unpopular. So Xi was like, yo, Putin, I know you want to reform the Russian Empire and you want to push back NATO. Take Ukraine, do it quickly within 3 days, like everyone thought they would.
Yep.
Okay?
3%, yeah.
I get my grain, you get a whole bunch more money, right, flowing your way, and then I can invade Taiwan.
Because now there's no longer the threat of the U.S. blockade being able to send them into famine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Ukraine started fighting back for 2 years straight. Bless
Sorry.
you.
Yeah. And Taiwan's important because of those microchips, right?
Yeah. Taiwan is the
Gotta get
only
your
place in the
fucking
world
microchips.
that produces the highest quality microchips necessary for AI.
Oh, damn. I didn't realize the AI part.
Yeah.
We're working on it. We're working on making more production in the U.S., but it's going to be a while.
It's going to be a while, because Taiwan has had the ability to do it for 20, 30 years uninterrupted,
Right.
and no one really thought to do it themselves.
They've
Yep.
got the expertise and the know-how.
Yeah.
And just facilities, man.
Yeah.
The equipment you need to make microchips has to be so precise.
That makes sense. They're fucking small.
Yeah.
It's a big deal. And here's the thing. Nothing went according to plan. And I'm pretty sure that Israel-Gaza was started by Iran on behalf of China and Russia to distract the United States and the rest of the world from what's going on in Ukraine.
What's your argument for that?
Simple. Hamas is backed completely by Iran. They rely on Iran, funded, weapons, everything. Iran is kind of backed by China and Russia.
Right.
And they fucking hate Israel. So when China and Russia go, yo, we fuck with you doing some fucked shit to Israel. Do it. Go for it.
But how does that help Russia and China?
For the last 5 months, I have only been hearing Israel-Palestine out of Americans.
That's true.
That's
And
true.
nothing about Ukraine.
I've been wondering about that.
You know?
Yeah.
It has been really distracting.
And
Yeah.
notice what's the most popular thing politically on TikTok? Fucking Israel-Palestine. And I'm
Definitely.
pretty sure TikTok is a Chinese weapon. Alright?
Possibly. Yeah.
It's controlled by a Chinese company. I'm not trying to be big conspiracy theory over here. But
Dude, you don't even have to be conspiracy theory. That's proven.
that's proven.
There is evidence of China when they commit things that make them look bad. They will purposely downplay the amount of times that's seen within their
On
algorithm.
TikTok. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, if they've got control over the algorithm, then that's all the proof I
People in the field refer to it as
Grab some of your water.
Yeah.
Thank you.
People in the field refer to it as amplifaganda. So you amplify perspectives that support what you want to say. You don't even have to say it yourself or put in false
Right.
perspectives. You just tune up the algorithm manually to promote the perspective you want.
Right, and that could easily be what happened with Gaza and Israel. Because I've been wondering, why did that grip the collective conscious so strongly? Thank you. Because I mean, of course, everything that's going on in Gaza and is fucking awful. Like, there's so much loss of human life. It's terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But isn't there more in Ukraine? And,
Okay.
And why aren't people more up in arms about this issue? And it makes sense that, like, if the collective that's trying to, like, win the war in Ukraine has this power to amplify something, they would amplify the Gaza narrative. And then all that, like, money and funding that comes with, like, especially U.S. attention goes to the Gaza conflict instead.
I mean, the only thing I would say about that is, like, I'd want to see, like, Ukraine been getting less support?
That's a good point.
Since Israel-Palestine. Like,
I
has
mean,
that happened?
less Americans support it.
But, like, how much does that matter on a governmental level? Because public opinion is one thing, funding is another.
That's a very good point.
We haven't been very good at supporting them. Like,
Really?
we delayed for, like, 6-7 months to get them aid, bro.
And I'm talking, like Kickstarts. Like, I saw something about, like, Selena Gomez, or somebody, I think it was Selena Gomez, posted something pro Gaza, like, some donation link on her story. Got, like, tons of donations. Wonderful. Ton of humanitarian aid going towards Gaza. But, like, also that means, like, that could have been, had that conflict not been started, that much donation towards Ukraine, you know?
And also, bro, like, 40,000 people have died in Gaza. There have been some studies that show that number might just be completely wrong. I can't lie.
It's almost always, like, impossible to actually get accurate casualty estimates.
But it's definitely within the 5 figures and the lower end.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like, under than 50K.
Mm-hmm.
Putin alone has lost 500,000 men.
That's 10 times that.
That's 10 times. That is an order of magnitude more
Yeah, it's
loss and devastation.
awful.
And I was watching some experts talk about it. And Putin's artillery bombing techniques are annihilating the local landscape and ecosystem, causing irreparable environmental damage in these areas. And more than that, I just saw a video of Putin deliberately bombing the equivalent of Ukrainian IKEA. Only civilians. It's just gone.
And they're, like double
gone.
tapping too, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, sending in one bomb, and then when the medics come, another one.
Jesus.
Same place. Yeah, that's
And,
just
like-
straight out of the Hunger Games. Like, I remember that was my first exposure to that. When fucking, spoiler alert, when they get Crim, that was with the double tap. Same fucking technique. It's brutal.
So, hang on. We each have one slice left.
That's what
we
I
each
was
go
thinking.
for our respective...
Actually, that's not a bad idea.
Okay.
Let's
I
do
like
it.
that.
Yeah. Is it cool if I take the last of this little
Go for it.
toss? Appreciate you guys.
And respectfully, like, say what you want about Israel, but I don't think they're bombing grocery stores that don't have Hamas in it.
At
You
least
know?
that they think don't have Hamas.
That they
right?
think don't have Hamas. I'm pretty sure Putin is just trying to kill Ukrainian civilians.
Yeah, he's trying to break their spirit
He's trying to break their
by
spirit.
killing as many as he can.
I don't think that works, though. I don't think it's ever worked in human history.
Not that I know. That
Yeah.
just galvanizes people. And it's
Right.
like, what do you even want? If you start bombing their infrastructure and civilians, what do you even get out of conquering them?
Facts. Because then you go into the land you've conquered, and now all the like shit that you're trying to get, you destroyed.
Yeah, and it's like, Russia doesn't have a land problem at all.
No, they don't. I think out of any country on this planet, Russia's the only one that will never have a, like, amount of land problem.
Maybe Canada. I feel like they're pretty well insulated from that, especially once global warming starts thawing out some of their northern regions.
That's true.
But for Russia and Ukraine, it's all about the access points, right?
Well, I can explain that if anyone would like.
Yeah, please do.
So, all of Russian history since the 1200s, since really the Mongols, has been wide open steppe that is easily conquered by invading armies. So Russians are like, fuck, this sucks. It sucks to just live on a giant plain and anyone can roll up and just kill us. Let us expand to geographic access points. That way we can hold off invaders. So the Gobi Desert in Mongolia was one of them, right? You have the Carpathian Mountains in like Hungary, Romania. That's another one, a massive one. You have like Finland and that like little point between Finland and Sweden. That's another one that they want to conquer. You know, basically the Caucasus are another big one. Their method operandus is just expand until you hit an access point that you can plug. So that way you won't have people in your actual heartland. And with the collapse of the Soviet Union, Russia lost all of its access points. All of them. They're all gone. And basically everything Putin has done has been expand until I can get these access points again. and Ukraine isn't even an access point. It's on the way to 2 of them.
What are the access points? One's in Finland, I'm assuming?
No, for the Ukraine side, it is the Carpathian Mountains in like Romania, Hungary, and then also like access to Poland, and then down into like Bulgaria, Romania. Like that whole region is an access point.
And the warm water port's pretty important too, right?
The warm water ports are big too, because warm water ports are ports that you can use year round.
Okay, back.
And Russia doesn't have any. Their ports freeze in the winter, which really inhibits trade. The reason they took Crimea in 2014 was to gain access to a warm water port.
Right.
And so Ukraine is actually doing a phenomenal job of annihilating the Russian Navy. Like, really, like, better than anyone has ever expected. And part of that is that they use drones and, like, fishing vessels that are really close to the waterline. And Russia's big guns on their ships can't, like, turn downwards, so they can't actually shoot the ships. So the ships can just run up and shoot them with, like, no repercussion, which is a little bit ridiculous.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
Russia's guns just don't point down, so they can't block Ukrainian ships.
Oh, God.
It's like fighting a fucking Diglett.
Mm-hmm.
Drew, would it be cool if I hit your water again?
Go for it, man.
Sweet. Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure Ukraine's gonna be okay-ish. Putin has kidnapped 700,000 Ukrainian children and just
insane.
Holy shit.
and just distributed them across Russia.
That's really bad, man.
Yeah,
And
that's
isn't he using minorities as his his soldiers too?
Yeah, he's using mostly ethnic minorities, prisoners, and African mercenaries
Jesus Christ.
instead of actual Russians.
That's so fucked.
Yeah, it really is just like evil on a whole nother level that we haven't seen in a while, and no one's talking about it. And I'm a little bit fed up with like nobody caring about Ukraine.
Yeah. I feel like people... I don't know. I feel like people care. It's just not part of the cultural consciousness nearly as much, especially post-Gaza.
Yeah.
I'm still kind of confused as like why that blew up. Like I know... I was talking to this with my professor, and she was like, yeah, there's not very much Jewish people in America. Like, it's a really small percentage. Like, there's a pretty significant population in New York, but not really in many other cities.
Very few Palestinians.
And I was like, yeah, there's very few Palestinians either. Like, why? Like, what's causing this to be so interconnected with America? I mean, Israel's been our ally for a while, and this has been like a powerful conflict for a while. But like, why is it so popular? And a part of it is because really it is a vocal minority of people. Not to say like they're wrong necessarily, just because it's a small amount of people. But like in a recent poll of 9 issues among college students, placed last.
Yeah.
It's just so the people who care about it seem to really care about it in general.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like we could talk about this subject without mentioning any names, but at the university we go to, there was an encampment.
Yes.
And
We're at the University of Oregon.
And I don't know how popular that encampment actually was.
I can say I talked about it with one class, which was my French horn studio class, and there seemed to be wide support, and actually there was like Hamilton. There was an opportunity. It was the day of my recital actually, so I was like, no, I'm not gonna play.
You might want to repeat that. I think the fire truck that just passed by probably messed
Good
that all
idea,
up.
yeah. Okay, so there was we talked about that in like one class, about the encampment, in like one class that I have, which was my horn studio class, and in that there was like broad support for it. There was an opportunity to go and play some stuff at the encampment, which some other people did, but I didn't because that day was my recital.
Yeah.
I didn't want to play any more than I had to.
True. Fair.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's interesting. I wonder if you asked, I wonder what the link between support for this issue or knowledge of this issue or stance on this issue and social media engagement is.
I'd bet it's really high.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, social media is interconnected with depression, and in order to be as critical and as engaged with something this depressing, it's pretty likely you're going to be depressed yourself.
Yeah.
And it really got popularized on social media. I think I was pretty stunned about how many people care about it. I still see so many stories of people talking about it.
Yeah.
To the point where I'm like, okay, this is terrible, but I can't see like humanitarian crises every second of every day.
Yeah.
I've muted some people for it.
Like, what about Yemen? That shit's terrible.
Dude.
Also, people are starving to death in like the hundreds of thousands, right?
Yeah, hundreds of thousands of people are starving in Yemen. And not like, people are like, don't get me wrong, people are like, what's going on in Palestine, there's starvation and people are dying. Guess how many people have died of starvation? According to Hamas, by the way.
How many? I have no idea.
27.
Really?
That's bonkers.
In Yemen, it is hundreds of thousands.
I've seen hella numbers about like, or, I mean, not actual. I don't know how actual the numbers are, but I feel like I've seen a lot of fairly reputable sources be like thousands of people are dead in Gaza from starvation.
They say at risk of starvation, but not actually starving.
And you can say like almost anybody's at risk of starvation.
That's true.
And there's people in
Broad
America
enough
that are
scale.
at risk.
Dude, I was just looking into that for my urban farm project that I did. I did some quick Googling, and like, the United States produces enough food yearly to feed its population 6 times over. But I believe it's 13% of Americans live in a state where they're like live in hunger. And
Wild.
one in 5 kids live in hunger. We produce 6 times the amount of food it would take to feed everybody.
Yep.
It's just nonsensical. I don't get it.
I wonder why that is. Like, nobody really starves to death very often in America, and if they do, it's usually special circumstances.
Yeah,
So it's pretty surprising to me that people can still, like, go hungry. Like,
Yeah.
like not have enough food before they go to bed.
I
That
think
shit's pricey, bro.
I think that it's profitable to to keep somebody in hunger, because if they are, that means like they are probably in a food desert, and then if you're in a food desert and there's no like local production of foodstuffs, you being like the industrial agriculture system can pretty much control what is like presented to that person as food options.
Yeah.
And so you get like a Fred Meyer's or something, and then it's like $6 for a jug of milk. Nobody can, if you're really poor, you can't really afford that all the time.
And then like some processed garbage that's
Oh.
like 2,000 calories.
Exactly.
Like, a giant bag of Twinkies is like $5.
Exactly.
It's like, oh, that could feed me all day.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. Yep. And then, have you guys seen the stuff about Alzheimer's being linked to like seed oils and shit?
No, I haven't.
Really?
This is getting a little bit Ray conspiracy theory.
No, go for it.
But like
I just did a couple conspiracy theories. Let's
Yeah.
spread the love.
So I took this global well-being class and also this urban farm class, and that's where a lot of this stuff is coming from. We specifically had a 3-week unit about like how diet affects well-being. Yo.
What's up, bro?
And like one of the craziest things in this class was that there, as like kind of the Western industrial agriculture diet has spread from like America throughout the rest of the world, kind of the process that happens is like these cheap processed foods are like, you get like a supermarket in, let's say, like the middle of somewhere South America that has like a strong food tradition of like stuff being produced in South America. Usually obesity rates are pretty low. Diabetes, cancer, Alzheimer's, all this stuff is like not present at all. Then you get a supermarket that comes in, undercuts the prices for everything. People start shopping there a whole lot more just because it's cheaper and like there's a lot of pre-made food, so it saves you time, it's more affordable, that sort of stuff. And they slowly start to abandon their like traditional food production methods. As this happens, as they shift from like one to the other, there's like a linear increase in what's called Western diseases, which is obesity, coronary heart infection, diabetes, and cancer.
That makes sense.
And yeah, it's straight from the diet. It's just like terrible shit going into your body, and it's like a 1-to-1 correlation. It's like so much so that it's fucking causation on God. Like the Western diet shows up, these diseases show up. People have seen it happen real time over like 50 years in communities. It's been studied by scientists.
fucking crazy.
I don't think that's much of a conspiracy theory. Man.
Yeah, I
I
kind
think
of
that
got
might be reality.
No,
bro.
that one's reality. The conspiracy theory or the Alzheimer's seed oils thing, that one is a little less substantiated. It was something I saw on an Instagram reel just the other day, but it was about.
I believe everything I see on Instagram reels.
That's where I get all my factual information.
Facts, but this one was talking about how the agricultural sector had reduced Alzheimer's in their cattle, because to have a cattle with Alzheimer's, it fucking sucks, because they like don't come to get their feed when they need to, and they like forget about the processes that they've been trained so they can like be better fucking meat, you know, as sad as that is. But so they got rid of Alzheimer's in cattle by getting rid of seed oils in their diet.
Huh. That's
Yeah.
really interesting.
Yeah.
Where do you learn about this stuff as a music major?
That's a great question. I mean, I finished most of my music class requirements my like sophomore year, and so kind of since early like mid junior year, I've just been taking like kind of whatever class looks interesting. So I took that global well-being class. I did like a Cultures of India class, which was super sick. Did a Birth and Death of Stars, some astronomy.
Dang.
That was dope. Origins of Art, learned a lot in that one. That one was really cool. That was an anthro class. So yeah, I've got like a strange like sprinkling of knowledge.
Nice
across
little
subjects.
conglomerate.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
super sick.
Yeah.
Did you see Modi, Prime Minister of India, literally believes he was sent by God to rule India?
Bro, I'm pretty
wild.
sure you believe you're sent by God, don't you?
Maybe not to rule
Maybe.
India, but who knows?
Yeah, not to rule India, but like if I have the opportunity to rule India, I mean,
When are you getting the opportunity to rule India? Like,
Who knows?
what future is that happening?
maybe.
Do you have to be born in India to rule India?
I don't know. I know there's some countries where you don't have to be born in it to like be elected to the highest office. Maybe I'll go to one of those places and be like, I've been sent here by God
Oh
to
my
rule
God.
over you. Make me your king.
Jesus. You get run out of time with pitchforks, bro.
Nah,
Seriously.
trust me, they'd fuck with me.
I'm built
Trust me,
different.
bro.
I'm built different.
If I ever become president, I'm just gonna be like, yo, God sent me. Trust.
Trust. Believe me.
Source?
Source?
Source.
I made it the
Instagram
fuck
Reels.
up. Instagram Reels.
It was revealed to me in a dream.
Yo, do you guys want to hear the best pun that I've ever come up with?
Yes,
Dude, yeah.
please.
Okay. So, this happened to me at a summer camp, right? And at like maybe around noon in the this day at the summer camp, this crazy like people started just shooting out puns, like little pun like group started, people were making puns, and then it just spread throughout the entire camp to the point where it was like you would walk by certain people and just any pun you could think of in your mind, like you'd be carrying firewood and somebody's like, I would not want that to be me. Shit like that. Like all day.
That sounds like hell.
You know, it was really fun at first, and then it got out of hand.
It got out of hand.
As the day wound down, you know, I'd been spitting puns. I love wordplay, but I was thinking to myself, man, I want one really good one. So I'm trying to think of puns as I go to bed. I don't really go to sleep. That night, I have a dream.
No way.
No,
MLK.
yes way. And in this dream, I'm just going about like my normal school day life, stuff like that, and I start to develop like really baseline like superpowers. Like at first, I can just like make lights like wink just a little bit, you know? And then I can start to detect thoughts and like read other people's minds. Then I can start, and I'm like training this superpower as it grows. Eventually I can start to like put my thoughts in other people's heads so like we can have a conversation. Then as I'm building it more, and it takes a lot of concentration to do all this stuff. It's like mental acuity, like I'm practicing every day, shit like that. And
Right.
eventually I can start to like lift shit up with my mind. And I start going on like talk shows like Jimmy Fallon, Ellen, shit like that. And people are like, and I start getting these crazy markings on my face too that just like appear, they're glowing purple. Shit was insane. Yeah, and so and people are like, oh my god, Ray, like an actual superhero. Like what's going on? And in one of these talk shows, one of the people asked me, so they're like, and like that's kind of out of my control. I'm like just trying to like grow these powers or whatever. And they're like, oh my god, a superhero. So I'm on one of these talk shows. Exactly. And on one of the talk shows, somebody's like, so like. People have been calling you a superhero. Like, what's your superpower? What's your superhero name? And I think for a second, and I respond, I think it's orange juice. Because all I need to do to use my powers is concentrate.
That's so garbage. That's horrible. That's horrible.
I had that moment in this dream where that happened, and I woke up and was like, I'm remembering that. And immediately fell back to sleep. And then I woke up the next day and had the most bonkers pun. It was awesome.
Did you wake up? Did you in the morning? Did you like try to look at a light and you're like, all right, let me just double check really quick. Let me verify.
Well, the problem is that I was at a summer camp in the woods, so there weren't any like electric lights. But I'm sure had there been some, I would have tried. I might have even afterwards. I don't remember. Mostly, I just remember the glory of a pun coming to me in a dream.
When I was a kid, every so often I'd be like, all right, I'm gonna hit this really quick, and I'd be like trying to get the remote or something, and I'd be like, I'd reach out my hand and I'd be like,
oh yeah,
focusing, I'd be like, can I use the force? Let me try.
Oh yeah, I definitely had been there. I was there. How about you, Eddie? You ever try to use the force?
No, but I did used to speak like. I remember I was in chess club in like 2nd grade, and I tried to speak like parcel tongue, the snake language, and Harry Potter. And like some kid was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And another guy goes like, "Nah, he's trying to speak parcel tongue."
He knew.
He knew, and I look back on that moment, and I was like, I was the weird kid in that class.
The kid going.
I don't even know what I was doing, but it must have been wild.
That's some menace behavior, bro.
That is some menace behavior.
Well, do you guys have anything else to talk about? This might be a good spot to end it.
I actually do have one more thought to put out there.
Yeah.
And it's actually returning back to Israel-Palestine for a moment. And actually kind of a grim turn. Have you seen, I don't know, has Eddie introduced you to Peter Zion yet?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Have you guys seen the Peter video about Gaza that he released a couple days ago?
Yeah.
Grim. I have never seen this motherfucker so grim.
Damn.
Apparently what I got from the video was that Israel's kind of been going like from north to south, or maybe from south to north. I don't know. Either way, they've been starting at one end and going to the other. And as they do so, they've been kind of like flushing everybody in Gaza to, let's say they start in the south and go north. They've been flushing everybody northwards. And they've taken control of the border between Egypt and Gaza, so they can't get into Egypt anymore. And as more and more people are in a denser and denser area, there's more and more casualties as they go after Hamas fighters. Like, that's why you saw the 45 people dead in like an airstrike. I think it was yesterday, something like that. Really terrible stuff. And I think really the most grim thing that Peter said was that it's hard to see like an end game at this point. Like when is Israel going to be like, okay, when they've killed all the Hamas fighters? If so, like they can't outstripe recruitment because they're like doing really fucked up shit, and that makes people want to fight back.
Yeah.
So they can't really kill Hamas at the rate that Hamas can replenish their ranks. And so, like, when is this gonna end?
Yeah. It's pretty grim.
Yeah.
The only thing I can even remotely think of is Israel now claims to have fully seized control of the Gaza-Egypt border.
Right.
And so now there's just no real way for Hamas to get guns and ammunition in.
Right.
So it might be they just stalemate this stuff and just starve out Hamas weapon-wise.
Or besiege.
Yeah, where they're just like, we fully control your border. We will not allow any weapons into this zone. As time goes on, you're just going to use the last of it.
Mm-hmm.
And we're just going to keep you here. And there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, that's fucked.
What is Israel's ideal end scenario anyway for Israel?
Right.
I don't know.
What do they want?
I don't know, bro. I just do not know. Like, it just seems like no one is actually interested in peace.
Yeah. Yeah. And, like, what comes after? Because this is setting a terrible foundation for, like, Israel-Gaza relations afterwards. Because it is going to end eventually, somehow.
Yeah.
And, like, it only seems to me that like obviously Israel is provoked, but also they are doing really horrible shit to the people of Palestine right now.
Yep.
And that is only going to make the people in Palestine more and more incensed at them and want to fight back even more, even after Israel's like withdrawn. So it's really hard to say.
Well, hopefully things get better.
Yeah.
Hopefully things get better.
See ya.
Austin.
Yeah, I think this is just a sucky situation.
That's true.
Good luck.
Inshallah, there shall be peace.
Mashallah. Wallahi.
Wallahi.
Wallahi, indeed.
That was fun. I liked the pizza.
Pizza
Yeah.
was
It
good.
was gas pizza. What was that place called again?
Hey, neighbor.
Hey neighbor. Have you guys had Roma? Pizza
Like,
Roma?
like espresso Roma?
No. It's it's Mezzaluna. I was thinking espresso.
Yeah, that place was
Mezzaluna.
gas.
Yeah.
I like
gas.
Mezzaluna.
I don't know.
Alright, I think that's a place to end.
Yeah, I agree.
After horrendous humanitarian disaster.
Yeah.
What do you think about this pizza place?
Try Mezzaluna.
Try Mezzaluna.
Also, Tacovore. If you guys have ever
Taco
been
Bell's
there?
pretty fun.
I have
Hard
not
as
had
fuck.
taco.
That's where I'm going after this, actually.
Ooh.
That's dinner too.
That could be a
Okay.
place we hit for another podcast
That could be
episode.
fun.
Yeah, bomb
Yeah.
ass margarita.
Thank you for coming, by the way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you guys for
I
having me.
really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
had a good time. Thank you.
Yeah, it's great to see you again, Drew. It's been
Yeah.
a minute. I really
I
enjoyed
had. That
interacting.
was
Yeah.
wild.
All right. I think that's it. Goodbye.